Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the fascinating science behind what is arguably the most powerful, yet wildly underutilized treatment currently available to human health. You know, we spend literal billions every single year searching for the next big medical breakthrough, but it turns out the most potent intervention is already built right into our biology.
Think about this quote from the UK Department of Health and Social Care for a second. They recently stated, "If physical activity were a drug, we would refer to it as a miracle cure." I really want you to hook into that idea today. We need to completely reframe how we view physical activity. This isn't just a daily chore, right? Or some annoying box to check off your to-do list. We're talking about an incredibly potent, freely available medication that actively targets almost every major system in your body.
So here's our roadmap to unpack this bold claim today. 1. The prescription. 2. The side effects. 3. Why we skip our meds. 4. The mechanics of change. And 5. Actionable steps for activity.
Section 1. The prescription, defining the dose.
Okay, so what exactly is the clinical dosage for this so-called miracle cure? Well, the baseline prescription for adults is the number 150. That's 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week. And by moderate, I mean doing something where you get warmer, you breathe a bit harder, and your heart beats faster, like a really brisk walk. A good rule of thumb is the talk test. You're working, but you can still hold a conversation. You can definitely mix in vigorous activity too, and crucially, you need to add in 2 days of muscle strengthening exercises, whether that's using your own body weight or external resistance. That is the magic formula.
But here is what's truly staggering. We are fundamentally failing to take this freely available medication. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 adults globally, that is 25% of the population, completely ignore this recommended dosage. And honestly, here's the craziest part. Despite all of our modern fitness trackers, our smartwatches, and all the health knowledge at our fingertips, there's been virtually no improvement in global levels of physical activity since 2001. No change at all.
Section 2. The side effects, rewiring body and mind.
Now, if we actually do take this medication, the physiological side effects are nothing short of miraculous. Regular movement basically acts as an invisible, full-body shield against major modern diseases. We are talking about a massive 40% reduction in all-cause mortality, which means death from literally any cause. It drops your risk of type 2 diabetes by 35%, lowers hypertension by 33%, and leads to 30% fewer bone fractures. It even significantly reduces the risk of breast and colorectal cancers. I mean, there is quite literally no pharmaceutical drug on planet Earth that can claim this breadth of disease risk reduction without toxic side effects.
And the benefits absolutely do not stop at the neck. The psychological impacts are just as profound. Consistent evidence shows that physical activity reduces the risk of clinical depression by an incredible 48%, and we see even larger effects when treating major depressive disorder with moderate aerobic exercise. It reduces cognitive decline by up to 66%. And while it's bringing all those negative things down, it's simultaneously an enhancer, boosting your neurotransmitters like endorphins, completely leveling up your sleep quality and elevating your overall self-esteem.
Section 3. Why we skip our meds. What holds us back?
With all those amazing benefits, it's so easy to just blame our lack of exercise on simple laziness, right? But the science tells a very different story. We are literally walking around with hunter-gatherer hardware. Our genome is the result of hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, where our bodies were programmed to do hard physical labor just to survive. But today, those ancient genes are trapped in a highly sedentary modern environment. For the absolute first time in history, we actually have to artificially manufacture physical activity because our daily routines, sitting at desks, driving everywhere, they completely contradict our core biology.
So let's look at how this plays out in our everyday choices. It's basically a constant tug of war. On one side, we have our motivators, that great sense of achievement, relaxation, long-term health benefits, or even just the immediate need to go walk the dog. But pulling back on the other side, we face very real validating barriers. The high costs of gym memberships, a genuine lack of time in our busy days, feelings of maybe not knowing what to do at the gym, and honestly, simple boredom. Understanding these barriers is totally essential because recognizing why it's so hard today is the very first step to fixing it.
Section 4. The mechanics of change. The COM-B model.
To help bridge that gap, behavioral scientists use something called the COM-B model. It basically states that for any behavior to actually happen, like say going for a run, 3 components must be present. The first is capability.
Do you have the psychological and physical ability to pull this off? And hey, this isn't just about having the physical stamina, it's also about cognitive knowledge. Do you know how to safely use that intimidating gym equipment? Do you know what a moderate intensity pace actually feels like? Because if you lack the knowledge, the behavior simply isn't going to happen.
The second pillar is opportunity. Look, willpower alone is rarely enough if your environment is constantly working against you. Opportunity refers to the physical and social factors that enable your new habit. Do you have access to safe walking routes or a nice local park? Do you actually have 30 minutes free in your schedule? And just as importantly, do you have a supportive social network? Friends or family who will actually encourage you to get moving rather than asking you to stay on the couch and watch another episode?
Finally, we have motivation. This encompasses the reflexive and automatic mechanisms that spark your behavior. It's about setting meaningful goals, understanding those personal benefits we talked about, and critically, finding genuine enjoyment in the activity. If you absolutely hate running, guess what? You're not going to keep running. You have to find a habit that eventually transforms from a conscious chore you force yourself to do into an automatic, rewarding routine. Capability, opportunity, motivation. When you get all three aligned, behavior happens.
Section 5. Actionable steps for activity, writing your own prescription.
All right, let's get practical. How do we actually build that capability, opportunity, and motivation? We use proven behavior change techniques. Try a decision balance sheet. Literally write out the pros and cons to clarify your personal why. Use self-monitoring fitness diaries to reflect on your progress. Anticipate failure with relapse problem solving. Meaning, if it rains tomorrow, what is your indoor backup plan? And my absolute favorite, stimulus control. This is manipulating your environment to make the right choice easy, like simply leaving your gym bag right by the front door so it is literally the very first thing you see. And when it comes to setting your goal, please don't just say, I want to get fit. Vague intentions fail. Instead, use the FITT principle to make it rock solid. Frequency, how often are you going to do it? Intensity, how hard will you push? Type, what exactly is the activity? Time, how long is the session going to last? A specific FITT goal sounds like, I am going to walk briskly, making my breathing heavier for 15 minutes continuously, 5 days a week. Now that is a prescription you can actually fill.
I want to wrap up by leaving you with this really profound quote from public health researchers. To move is an opportunity, not an inconvenience. We really need to stop viewing physical activity as a penalty for what we ate or just another annoying task to squeeze into an already busy day. It is a privilege. It is literally the most powerful tool you have to protect your brain, guard your body against disease, and radically elevate your mood. The prescription is already written, the medication is completely free, and the benefits are guaranteed. So, what's going to be your next move?